Thank you.
Okay. As I was saying, public health and safety, February 24th. A few people, everything's online.
No.
God, I don't like turning around. I'm doing all the cameras now.
I'll let you know.
I know, you can keep watching for me. Okay, let's go ahead and just start moving down the agenda here. Approve February 10th minutes. I got an email from Ann, and Ann has decided that she would like to continue doing the manual minutes, which I am 100% okay with.
Yeah.
So she submitted last meeting's minutes. I just was looking over them. They look great,
I read them.
along with the AI and having
Yeah, I
two of them. I feel
combine
like,
a little of everything.
yeah, I
Okay.
kind of feel like that's great. So,
Okay. Thank you. I move to approve then.
Okay.
Second it.
Fantastic, okay. Minutes approved. Before we hear from Chief Schrock, can we get a little update from Mike Maples? I know he wanted to say
Sure.
something.
Last night in the Public Works, I'm gonna lose my voice again, and I still have this cold, but, in the Public Works Committee, I talked about, some stuff that I've learned over the past week on how to deal with traffic sign requests and what other towns do, and a process to, have a kind of a data-driven, consistent process of looking at sign requests. Basically, what a lot of other towns do, is a formal traffic study, which, once I looked into it, it wasn't really that big of a deal. The traffic studies consist of basically traffic data, which is collected at the site, a look at all the incidents and accidents that have occurred at the sites. There's also, those are the two main components that the engineers then use to kind of go through kind of a recipe book from the DOT. There's other components like geometric measurements and site evaluation, things like that. With all that in mind, I spoke with the mayor about it. I spoke with WWC a little bit about it. I kind of put together a scenario with some suggestions. And the first being of the city acquire these data collectors to do the traffic studies, and there's a couple different kinds. The first kind is just a simple radar. It's about the size, a little bit bigger than a paperback book. It's pretty discreet. It goes out and it will measure all traffic going both directions on a street, speed, frequency, time of day, all the things you need for a traffic study. It prints it out in a report that is in a standard format for the engineers to look at. The other type of system is a camera system, which would film an entire intersection. And it would be, they're a little more expensive, but they do provide a lot more data, and that you can get pedestrian data and you can get stop sign compliance data out of it, as in, are people blowing through it, slow and go, or complete stops. And then for that other component, so that would be the traffic data side of it. And the radar controllers to get set up with those, we're looking at about $4,000. For one camera, it's about $3,500. Pros and cons of each are the radar detectors are very easy to deploy. We can literally have them set up in minutes. They're discreet. People don't know they're there. The camera's going to take longer. In some instances, the camera would cover all four sides of the intersection, but in some, it probably wouldn't. So we would be required to have two cameras. And the cameras are about $3,500 a piece.
What were the radars?
Two for $4,000. And we would have to have two with the radar to cover both directions. One good thing about either thing is when we're not, and I don't think we're going to be doing a lot of these traffic studies, but when they're not, they can be available where Chief could call us up and say, hey, can you throw that thing up over here and collect me a week's worth of data? And we could. And it would tell him, you know, what the average speed is, blah, 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 everything. So that's kind of the first component, the data part. The second part, and I've been talking with the chief with, and I think we've pretty well got our heads wrapped around it, but, is the review of traffic, accidents or citations or whatever in this area study. We've determined that we're gonna be able to get all the data out of his computer, put it in the GIS system, so that then we can just query for that area and have all that historical data available to send to the engineers. So my vision is that Public Works, working with Public Safety, kind of goes out and collects all the data for this traffic study. We send it to the engineers. They come back with a recommendation based on data and the rules of traffic, as to whether or not we put up a sign there or speed limit change or whatever traffic change we want to make. And I think that what I would like to do, you know, because part of our budget for streets is resort tax, you know, if there's support for this idea, I'd like to go to the resort tax committee for this coming fiscal year and, you know, budget for, say, 2 controllers or 2 cameras or whatever we decide to go with, and work with our engineering firms from WWC and Great West and say, hey, if in this scenario, where we give you all the data, we just want you to crunch numbers, what are you gonna charge us to do this? And they give us a number, and then we take that number, say, times 3 for a year, and just budget for that. So we have a system in place that's funded and ready to roll, so that when we have requests for sign changes, we can deal with them in a data-driven kind of and consistent manner.
So like a certain intersection would rise to the top, because of the data you've collected about that intersection?
Well, I think the process would start with, you know, we would, and with this, whatever process, program, whatever, we generate a form that somebody could say, we want a sign here, and they fill it out, and we evaluate it, and then we go set the stuff up there. I don't know if we get inundated with 4,000 requests in the first week, I don't know how we do that. But,
everywhere.
you know, it's a start, and I think it is something that would be, you know, data-driven, utilizing what's out there from DOT on traffic and consistent way to handle these. So, and the other thing I touched on last night, and it's not so much the traffic aspect of it, I should have brought my computer down here. The camera systems they have now are absolutely insane. Did you look at that one?
Yeah, good.
There's the one I'm looking at is called Data from the Sky. And if you're interested, I would look at their website, because that camera could be used for traffic studies, but if it wasn't used, we could probably put it on Broadway and it would measure traffic, pedestrian traffic, all kinds of stuff that could be useful for the city. It's not necessarily public safety or public works, but it would be something for, I don't know, I mean, it'd be hard data for grant applications or something. So.
Well, okay. Do you have a preference at this point? Either one of you have a preference?
I think in terms of getting the bare minimum of what we need in order to do a traffic study and making it easy to deploy, the radars are probably better. I think in terms of having all the bells and whistles and all the cool technology, the AI cameras are cool, but so.
And which one, I like the pedestrian idea because there's so many, this is a walking town, and
if
we
you want
could get the
pedestrian
one
data,
that counts.
you have to go with the camera.
Yeah, okay, that's
Yeah,
a
go ahead.
good deal here, so, anyway, okay, that's all.
Well, I just thought that kind of, was on the feathers of the conversation about the cameras in the park and stuff that we've been, you know, having with public health.
Yeah, this is geared towards something a little bit different, aside from surveillance. So it's just like Mike was saying, traffic studies. We did go over, I guess, the statistics sheets that they sent you, what they look like. It's very in-depth. And I think it, when we have, you know, while we had our discussion, was that this week or last week?
No, just
One of these days. We were in agreement that, I guess, it would make it fair across the board for people in neighborhoods, just like Mike was saying, to, you know, fill out a form if you believe that you live in a problem area. There's a process in which we put this up to determine traffic flow violations, stuff like that. We also had discussions about the technology with these readers are they're very high tech. One of the things that it would be, I want the public to know, is Montana, we do have an enhanced right to privacy, so it's not an LPR. Does everybody know what an LPR is?
I do not know.
A license plate reader.
Oh.
So a lot of other states, like Colorado and stuff, have LPRs on freeways and stuff like that. And those are, by the way, the state law reads that they're unconstitutional in the state of Montana.
Oh.
So
Good
it's,
to know.
so the public is aware that they are not LPRs, they are a traffic study tool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
What's the, like, how long do these radars versus cameras, how long are they lasting? How long are we gonna have to replace them? Do we
I would
know?
say the radar's gonna last longer, just that's my gut feeling, because it's old, simple technology.
Technology.
The cameras, like literally when I got the camera quoted the price, the guy said, well, when you get ready to order one, you know, get with me and we'll get you the newest, greatest, because
Okay.
it'll change.
It'll change, and that's what I was wondering.
From the time we're looking at it till the time we
Well, that
order
just
it.
seems like with technology, it's always like, as soon as you get one, it's outdated
And
before the next one. It's like a cell phone.
Good
And the
question.
AI software for the cameras, I'm a little skeptical, just because you pay a one-time fee of $1,000, that's in that $3,500 cost for the software, and you have to buy it for each camera you buy, so basically the camera's $2,500, software is $1,000, the one-time fee. The question I need to ask is, does that software get updated? Or do we have to change that software, spend another $1,000 for the updated version? So, there's a lot more to dig into this before we,
Pull the plug?
oh yeah, well,
Right.
I gotta get the money first too, so.
Right, well, that's where I was like, what,
So, this is just a
which
first
is more?
general glance of where we could go.
How is it powered?
What's that?
How is it powered?
Battery?
The radar ones will, basically, they'll run for 8 days on the battery, but they said where we're at, we would want, that price includes the solar panel, a little
Oh,
small
okay.
one sits on top of the side.
Cause I was gonna say, aren't like, trail cams, the batteries are really expensive too, so that would have to be factored into the cost, but it's solar powered
You know, there's,
investment for that
in the,
piece
in the
of it.
camera, depending on the location, it would either be solar or hardwired.
Okay.
Camera.
Huh. And then, like, just, I guess, back to, like we are with land use and planning in a flow chart, just having someone say, hey, this intersection, I'd like to have it under, I don't know, I hate to say surveillance, but just to, you know, collect data, and they can come in
Yeah,
and
we're
fill out
doing traffic study.
traffic study on it.
And no ability for crossover for
And it'd
versatility
be
if,
preferable if people didn't
for
know,
safety in parks.
because then they would back normal.
Right.
Absolutely.
Don't forget.
That they're there, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we did get inundated with requests, you know, and he and I talked a little bit about it, not in this context, but just in the context of when the detectors start being used, it'd be available, and it would be like, you know, maybe the first phase is, I think there's, people are speeding on Platte. Before we even start a traffic study, we can set that out there for a week, let it run and go, oh, by God, we do.
100% of the
or
time.
Not really. I mean, look at the data.
Yeah. No, I agree. No, I'm glad that it's, something is coming of it at least, that we're working through it.
Are you, gonna come back to us when you have more info, or what were we at?
I guess where I'm at is if I, you know, and I've talked to the Public Works Committee about it and speaking with the mayor about it, I would say that if everybody's kind of in support of this idea, I'll just push forward with it, you know. It's not gonna be approved per se until council approves the budget.
But
Okay.
You know, I mean,
So you're just looking for our
I can
approval?
pursue it
Don't mind.
and run down the road, and then come whatever, July, August, where we do the budget, then you can say, we don't wanna do that,
Okay. Well, yeah, no, I'm
or
all,
we can't afford to do that, or whatever. I mean,
that's kind of where, yeah, but no, I mean, I think clearly we need to have something on the books that establishes how we're putting in stop signs and safety features, so if this is stepping off point, then, yeah, I'm saying go for it.
Yeah, and I was thinking the versatility we talked about last night, public works with like special events, locate strategic placement, right, and getting traffic numbers for, say, the Ren Fair or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I think the versatility of such an asset, I think, would be
yeah, I
helpful
mean,
for many
you can set
users.
that up at 78 during Run Fair and get a 100%
More
count,
accurate,
of course.
yeah.
I'd say judging from both meetings, I was at both meetings, I'd say judging from the response of both meetings, I'd say go for it.
Yeah, it seems like everybody likes it, so I'll just keep pushing forward with it and,
Thank you,
see what we get.
Interesting.
great research. Thank
I
you.
might just get my own.
I know, can we put it on our, is that legal? We can have our
Can we
camera
legally
on our
have- I
property?
mean-
Yes.
Private property, yes.
I can't,
Anyway,
be- so I can't be
$4,000.
recording like everybody
I'll
else.
just go around with my little suitcase.
In your car, your little.
Anyway,
And walking around with a GoPro.
anyway, it's an interesting prospect, and thank you.
No, yeah, thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, both, yeah.
I feel left out that I was the last one to hear about it, but yay.
Well, Public Works, yeah, crossover.
Awesome. All right, if you don't have any more questions, we'll go ahead and move on down to Chief Schwab. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
As far as news and updates, fortunately, this week, there is nothing fun and exciting to report, which is good news. I do want to give a brief update on a lot of the hard work that Danae has been doing. One of the things that we are looking at doing is upgrading our radios, both in-car and portable, which are outlandishly expensive for the, technology upgrades and everything with the trunking system and the radio towers and everything. The radios that we have are 10 years past their due date. So Danae is working furiously on that to offset these major asks from resort tax. She's, like I said, furiously working on some grant opportunities. So that's good news. And to go off of follow up with what Mike was talking about, another item that him and I discussed this week was preliminary stages, obviously before, because next fiscal year, everything is budget. It's a ways out. However, we are taking some proactive approaches to inform the public on our problem areas. So I am generating a report for Mr. Maples through my computer system, which is going to give GPS coordinates of all of our traffic violations, motor vehicle crashes, injuries, and stuff like that. And he's plugging that into software that he has to create, I guess, like a mapping system to show like heat maps of traffic crimes and stuff like that that are
Great.
occurring within red light. The dates that we discussed are, we're looking at like January of 2020 to today's date and beyond, obviously, for when that report is done. So that's quite a bit of information.
What did I do in 2022?
22. Yeah, so, the data will not show names of offenders. It'll mainly show, the nature of traffic crime. It'll show, the location, and that's about it. I did run the numbers, so please be patient with me, because when I go to generate a report on my end, it's 5-6 years worth of information and it's crashing my system.
Oh, no.
So I have to get with IT to help me out with that.
Imagine.
Right. So from 2020 to 2026, this is just the police department has had 7,708 traffic stops, 45 motor vehicle injury crashes, 242 non-injury motor vehicle crashes, 43 non-specified crashes, In crash with unknown injury was 39, which I can say if it's an unknown injury crash, those, for the most part, result in a non-injury crash. It's just unknown at the time. Otherwise, that status would have been changed.
Okay.
And reckless driving complaints 32, which is,
Really?
there's not that.
For 6 years, that's what I was like,
Yeah.
A lot of this has to do with how these calls are coded too when they come into dispatch. Because you can either put in injury, non-injury, motor vehicle crash, unknown,
Okay.
you know. So there's 4 different categories to choose from. That the dispatch center, they are a group of professionals down there, and they do a great job of making sure that every call is coded correctly. And then citations for traffic-related incidents is 1,119. So
That's for 6 years?
yes.
Oh, it's like New
Is that-
York in
I
one
mean,
day.
I was gonna say that's for like a
1
day,
minute.
but I feel like that's.
Traffic alone. So like our criminal cases are different, yeah, they're separate
Okay.
arrest reports and citations.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really love for all the citations, but I mean, I still I keep, you know.
Yeah, well, it goes back to, not everybody needs a citation. You know,
Right.
a lot of people, it's more educational, get a warning and be told why they were stopped. However, there are times where,
Here you go.
you know, yes, our hand is forced.
Got it.
So it will take me, a little bit to get that information to Mike and then have him generate that report on his end. I just got to figure out some technical issues with that and then we'll move forward.
And this gives you locations for every incident?
Correct, yeah. So every traffic-related incident, whether it's speed, stop sign violation, reckless driving, DUI, stuff like that. It will take some time, so please bear with me.
No.
And then city limits, all just city limits, right? That's
Most of it, I will say that a lot of times our officers do have to venture out into the county, often. So there are rare occurrences where you will see a Red Lodge police officer taking a call between Belfry and Bridger. Looks weird, but there is a reason for it.
Yeah.
Those will be dwindled down,
Okay.
and those questions will be answered.
So it'll tell us where the traffic issues are,
Yeah.
just based on your numbers already,
Sure.
right? If-
Yeah, I mean, like, every intersection with 2 or 4 stop signs has stop sign issues. Right, we stop a car for running a
Right.
stop sign, obviously, it's because it's a controlled intersection
Right.
with signage. You know, what I'm trying to do with Mike is we're really trying to narrow down the true problem areas.
Thank you. That's
Absolutely.
interesting, yeah. It's really
Yeah,
interesting.
I'm still trying to, like, catch up with all this computer stuff, I'm still learning, so.
That's fun though.
Yeah.
Working.
No, I mean, I look at these numbers and I'm kind of like, you know, 32 reckless driving seems out of 6 years.
Correct, I mean, it could be a situation too, if you think about it, where we have a reckless driver that gets called in, one of my officers goes on scene and stops it, ends up arresting he or she for
So it might
DUI.
be-
So it could be recoded into a DUI arrest,
Oh.
or, you know, yeah. So like sometimes calls have 4 or 5 different natures.
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4, and each one is a specific different type of call, but those are all lumped in, we will get it figured out.
Okay, well, I look forward to it, I guess.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, I guess I look forward to it. I'm curious to see more than anything. Yeah, I want to see where.
We could probably guess there somewhere, but we
Yeah,
messed it up.
Okay.
By the numbers alone, you can see that we're taking a proactive approach.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
What and I like that it's all data driven, right?
Yes.
It's not just,
We're
what?
in that, yeah.
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 I saw
Nice
this
little
car
touch for that.
speeding,
I agree.
I want this stopped type thing, so. Although I'm guilty of it numerous times. So, awesome, all right.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on down. Let's see how we're doing on time. We're good. Okay. Ordinance number 974, restricting the use of tobacco products in public parks. Second reading is tonight. Is there any more discussion that we
I don't
need to
think
have
so.
on
I'll
this?
be glad to get rid of it. Done. Yeah, discussing, no, just kidding. We're open to
No, I have
discussion, but I have
Um,
nothing.
No, and it's interesting too, because I can't remember if it was on my way to work the other morning or if it was on a YouTube channel or something. I was listening to, somebody discussing a vape around their child, and they asked him to stop, and he like turned into a complete jerk about it, and Yeah, and they ended up, and it was like, the lady actually ended up having to take her kids and leave the park because of it. And I was like,
Wow.
oh, hey, all right.
Now it's enforceable,
Now
right?
it's enforceable, and that's where I was
We
like,
cannot get in an argument with another
no, that was like,
patron, yes.
Well, the argument's been going on for generations.
right,
Yeah.
100%, and just the constant picking up the, cigarette butts.
Oh, I
and
understand.
Solution,
I
yeah.
understand.
dealing with that nonsense, so that'll be, hopefully that'll help, right? Okay, so yeah, that's second reading tonight, I think we've pretty much exhausted that conversation. Next on the agenda, was this all my numbering issue that I submitted this way, or?
4, 6.
Yeah.
8.
4,
4,
6,
6,
Well, 7 is indented.
7's in there, but there's no
It
5.
tells me they weren't auto-edited, sorry about that.
Oh.
Yeah.
So 4 is the one that Mike, so he did that first, so that one's already done.
Yeah, and then 5, we're just gonna pretend is number 6?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that
No
was
clear.
clearly, I wouldn't be surprised if that was me, because, I can't count, because I gotta teach kids. No clearing municipal code, ideas to accommodate better enforcement. I always, again, this is my second meeting on public health and safety in the last few years, but the way the weather is, I read this and I'm just like, maybe if we get something, we keep discussing it,
Motivate us.
it'll come. If we build it, it will come type mentality. No, I'm just guessing.
Just real quick, it's been covered over the last couple of meetings. I think that we have a pretty good head start on, I guess, on the police side of things, where I'd like to see that go. We've all had the discussion of, number one, who issues the citation.
Okay.
I said that if a citation is issued, it would be best if it came from law enforcement, in the off chance that an officer has to testify in a court of law
Yes.
Okay.
regarding the citation. Warnings, I am on board with members of the city, like Public Works or the mayor or somebody from City Hall sending a notice to the business owner to count as a first warning.
Okay.
So that is fairly standard. And then Sergeant Webb had the suggestion of factoring the cost to have, whether it be Public Works or a private business, remove the snow if the owner is not present or cannot or will not do it, have that factored into the citation. I think those are the main points that.
That was great.
Yeah.
And the public nuisance, that came from Dennison first, the warning, is that right?
It could, yes, yeah.
So
he could-
maybe the consistency
To have
was
him-
the same as public nuisance, whatever process that is for snow removal?
Yeah, he has sent out notices for the nuisance properties that
Yeah.
have been discussed several times.
Okay,
Yeah, still plugging away on that.
yeah, yes.
Yeah, and the more consistent we can be with language.
Sure.
And fines,
Yeah.
we have that $100 fee.
Right. I agree though, like the removal, I guess there would be a difference between public works, taking care of it, and private, and depending on machinery used and hours, manpower.
And then charge it to the person who
Who neglected it, yeah.
I think we should probably maybe circulate a copy of the ordinance right now, or the code right now. And, not right very second, but the current code, and circulate it amongst members, and then put in our revisions incorporating those topics, and then we'll have a hard copy to look at for the
Yeah.
next meeting. So then we can get some momentum and get some concrete and get it moving forward.
If it snows a lot more next year, you'll see it in full effect. And
Right, that's what I'm like.
I'll appreciate it.
Yeah, right.
I know.
Getting it in place this year, yeah.
I feel like everyone's getting a little lazy on the snow.
Sure.
Okay, yeah, no, I agree, let's go ahead and pull up an ordinance so we can have an idea of what it looks like.
And share it,
And
okay.
share, and then, let's have
I can do
Dennison,
that.
see if we can have him, I wanna see what the nuisance
A
property reporting.
protocol is or whatever, okay.
Yeah, I wanna see what his,
And maybe some.
I apologize if my brain was someplace else, but part of the conversation had come up before was that Public Works had said, we can issue the citations, and the police and the attorney weighed in and said, no, they'd like to still see that be
From
the
the,
police issuing.
yeah, so the citations come from the law enforcement, but, Chuck was saying he feels completely comfortable if the city, Public Works, you, City Hall, utilities, whatever, needs to issue a warning.
So it fits in with the ordinance for the first warning.
The
Like,
first
so
warning.
if they were to receive a letter from the city, I would say that should be counted just fine as a written notice and a warning. That way, when, right, if the issue isn't remedied, then law enforcement shows up and has to scratch out a municipal citation.
That would be documented as the location, so we can see how many, that's the warning, this is the citation, this is the third offense, or whatever.
If City Hall, or whoever maintains that ultimate responsibility of issuing the warnings, if they can just give me a rundown of the properties and the names, I can manually input them in my system. That way, if an officer is called again, he can run the name and say, this date, this time, no matter what it says.
They know the warning has already happened.
Correct, yep.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Get the information out there. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that'd be safer for everybody.
Yeah, well, no, and it's exactly. I mean, there's many times I'm walking down the sidewalks and it's like, oh, it's so clear, and then I'm like, what happened here?
Whoa.
Like, did it just drift just in front of this business, or, right?
Oh, yes, and about the removal of snow, no location where they put it, right? Is that a part of the ordinance? Like, you can't dump it on your neighbor's property.
Yeah,
That's a problem with
Or a
businesses.
city right of way, or a state,
Oh,
or a
okay.
state highway as well. You can't just chuck snow in the middle of the street, because then
Right, and.
that's hindering, public works and road crews, their ability to do their job. Right, because I mean, like, you can push a lot of snow into a residential street if you have the equipment to do it, and that can cause issues.
Yeah, turn the ice, hit
Yeah.
an ice block with your car, dragon. Yeah.
Okay. All right, yeah, so let's pull up that ordinance and take a look, and moving right along. So number 7 is now number 6. Okay, is this what you were talking about with the discussion on cameras on city-owned property? Continue that conversation?
Well, yeah, we had a few months over the conversation with, with the, increased vandalism or graffiti.
Right, yeah,
in the area.
we're still actively working on that. I do have, Sergeant Brown following up on all those cases. I know that Ann specifically reached out to quite a few municipalities, and it turns out that
Nobody does, anything.
Yeah.
They can't catch them.
No, they don't have cameras.
No cameras?
regarding the cameras, yeah.
Okay.
Laurel has one camera in their playground, and then, one city wants them, but can't get it organized like that,
Right.
but it's not a thing.
Is it a
And then
privacy?
Cody didn't, for Cody, felt like it was a little bit too much surveillance, so he just sort of got some, pushback from the citizens.
But it's like city property, and as far, I understand that there are surveillance at, certain city parks, if it's the pool. I know that there's cameras at the pool, correct?
And
Right.
posted, right?
Mayor, it
There
has
are
to be.
cameras at the pool, correct?
I want to say there are one or two that
Yeah.
are posted.
So that's obviously for different reasons than like a playground, obviously, a swimming pool, but, so like, in terms of privacy issues, if it's city property and it's posted that it is under surveillance, you can do it. However, it just doesn't sound like something that municipalities that are somewhat similar to Red Lodge are doing. Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
so, how do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, is it strictly, like, fill in, is it a vandalism issue, is it a safety concern?
I don't know why it came up, I just.
It came up because of vandalism, particularly at the skate park. There was some, and so one of the questions is a lot of these groups have come up with, like, the pickleball courts or the tennis courts and stuff. There was a concern that as we make nice things, they become a target. That was the nature of the concern.
There are other avenues that law enforcement has to specifically surveil an area aside from surveillance cameras pointed at the park. So there are other avenues that we can take. It's not an end-all be-all of enforcement and crime solving. We have other options.
And there's some businesses that have their own cameras too.
Right.
That, I found that in all these
That-
towns, which is the other ones.
It's great when they do, yeah.
Very helpful.
It helps us
Right.
out tremendously.
Right, well, I understood the businesses, because that's, a livelihood issue, but I didn't know a city-owned property. Also, kind of curious what other avenues, if that includes more manpower, or, like, what other avenues, so to speak, other than
I can't give away all my investigative
okay.
secrets.
I'm just curious, like, is it more increased manpower?
Nice try.
Is it- I know. Do we have any undercover skaters?
You can go ask neighbors.
Yeah.
It could be something, it could be something.
Exactly, there's like an undercover skater
I
that
think
hangs
it would be
out.
obvious.
It could be, there's many different ways we can approach
Okay.
that. It could be something as simple as establishing a rapport with the kids at the skate park.
Okay, well, yeah, and
To
like, my
just ask
concern.
them flat out, who is doing this?
Right. I was more looking along the lines of like, are you increasing like
We can increase patrols. and it-
patrols, but I don't want to take away from somewhere else or have to pay for another patrol or something like.
Everybody within the city of Red Lodge pays taxes, and they are
Right, so I didn't
entitled
wanna
to a
have
patrol vehicle just as much as the next person.
Right.
So there's not, so, we can do increased patrols when we are slowed down with call volume and traffic and stuff
Okay.
like that. And it seems like the areas that are mainly being hit are unfortunately city-owned property, alleyways, stuff where you can kind of hide in the shadows. But
Alleyways.
sooner or later, it will get
Okay.
dealt with.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
It's just a criminal mischief citation, but multiple counts of it. So you rack up charges long enough, it gets pretty serious after a while.
Noted.
Yeah.
You're wearing black.
I know.
You stack up enough bills for cleanup and repair, and you exceed that $1,500 threshold, it then turns into a felony crime. Yes.
Okay. Good.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
All of a sudden I feel like now. All right. And let's see, we kind of scrolled through those pretty quick. Do we have, do we have a list? I know when I was on, Public Works and with Land Use and Planning, just kind of, we have a running document with projects, timelines. Do we need to go over anything else, or is there anything that? you
I am not in
feel-
possession of any timeline,
Not a
so-
timeline,
but
but projects,
yeah.
anything that need to be addressed, or you would like to see worked on? No?
Which one? Which one? Sandy was on public health and safety, right?
Yes, I took over
Okay.
for Sandy.
She had, I have that
Okay.
in my packet, from her priority list. So I can bring that, I'll
Yeah,
share
or
that
just
with you
share it.
you
guys.
can share it in an
And
email or
see
something.
if you
and
wanna
we can put
revise
it
it.
on the
Yeah.
agenda for next time.
That'd be great.
I think probably 3/4 of it has already been addressed,
Okay,
so.
that's what I was
but
wondering, how
She did
much.
have something, so.
It'd be nice to kind of go over and check mark everything that's already been addressed and see if
Create
there's
a
anything.
new one, yeah.
Yeah, if there's any more updated to do. All right. We are kind of right on schedule here, and we have some people in the audience to speak. Is there any public comments? Anybody? Ms. Hope?
Hope Smith, 517 North Hazard. So, those of you who are on the Safety City have seen our faces here for a long time, for a lot of reasons. And this, again, is about a stop sign thing. And I appreciate the fact that Mike is looking into the traffic study information. I think that's going to be a huge help. There were two separate, one was an accident where a car was T-boned, and the other was where it's the exact same intersection, a car sped through and almost hit somebody else. And so just serendipitously, they were in Facebook this morning. I saw both of those. And I have pictures of the car, and the victim said that, you know, and I know, yeah, that's the end.
And presumably,
Oh,
this
that-
was
oh.
one that ran a stop sign, given that it was in an
I-
intersection that's protected by stop signs.
I understand
That
that,
was,
yes,
this
but
was Sunday morning, wasn't it? Barb is here, she.
Barb's the victim.
Barb.
So
Are you
anyway,
okay?
Wrong floor. I'm sort of.
but I still, you know,
Okay,
I would like for us to get the equipment, I'd like for us to monitor it and everything else. But again, because of the proximity of the T-ball area and the skate park and the playground and the children's center and the Boys and Girls Club, I would like to see stop signs on all the intersections around that park area. And I know that people can run the traffic, or the stop signs, which is what they did for Barb, but I still think it would make a difference. And, that's what I have.
thank you.
Thank you. Oh, my goodness. I think that's just
Yeah, I'd like
amazing.
to emphasize that two stop signs, west and east, that was fine. She was going west, and I knew that I didn't have a stop sign. So I was proceeding to church right there, the next block. And I kept thinking, I said to myself twice, she'll stop. And all of a sudden, right into my door. And, she said, as she got out of her, well, she backed up right away. So past the stop sign, backed away from me.
I saw that.
Because and she got out of her car and said, "Are you hurt?" And I said, "Yeah, I feel funny, sore, like a sideways whiplash." And then, my hand was bleeding a lot. And, she said, "I kept looking that way. I was looking that way," pointing to Mount Marie's direction. And I don't know what I was supposed to say, but I just sort of listened to her. And then she said, "I'll call the police." And she did. So that was good because I hadn't even brought my phone. I mean, I go to church for an hour and then I go home and, feel it. Sunday morning, right, I've got all these details in my mind because I had to talk to 2 insurance companies about it. And it was a bright, sunny, clear morning. But and I had no stop sign. And I go slowly past the Children's Center. I go slowly past all of it because I go in a straight line past Hope's house all the way to my church, like 5 times a week. And, it was quite a shock and quite, stressful and stuff. And all the insurance stuff, but I fortunately have a car to drive and my dog wasn't with me.
Oh, good.
But I feel that, so importantly, it's populated by children right there on 2 sides, at least 2 sides, and then there's Ace and the apartments, but it needs to be a 4-way stop. I wouldn't mind stopping. I mean, I don't mind. And rather than figure out is this a 2-way or 4-way, let's just have it a 4-way and just have everybody stop.
Right.
Anyway, whoever pulls in first, you get to go next.
And what was the intersection?
Okay, it was 10th West,
Okay.
right next to Ace and the skateboard park. So
Okay.
she was alongside the skateboard park, and I'm coming along
Coming
the
south.
park, going south.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm coming from the north, going south. And, well, I just was so, couldn't believe it. I don't know. Anyway, so it happened. It was a loud.
That's
I had glass in my boots. I had glass. There was glass on the hood. It just exploded. I think the Nissan Pathfinder. I talked to the former owner yesterday, and he said they have really strong door panels. Luckily, the airbags didn't go off, so it's not like totaled. So maybe I can get it fixed. So thanks for listening.
Yeah,
And I think I'll be okay. I've had rear end accidents where it took a week for the adrenaline to wear off and the pain just set in. So. Being really careful. Thanks for listening, you guys.
Well,
thanks for
thank
coming
you
in.
for sharing.
God, you're okay.
I hope it doesn't take a $4,000 camera to figure out the stop signs.
Yeah.
I guess it will. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Barb. Feel better.
I did want to comment, I guess we should see what the timeline is for the budget through Mike for those things and see if there's a temporary fix, Mayor, with Mike, for any temporary signs.
There's a couple different things we're looking at,
Congested area.
because one of the things that we're looking at is a resort tax app, but there's some requirements there too, so. Like I said, I just wanted to keep council kind of involved. The planners are also looking at, solar flashers around stop signs and a couple of other things, to do that. So, like I said, I think I like, my goal has always been consistent and data driven to how to do that. It's 20 years, I still get the wrong of the post office wrong, because I look up and see the back of a school sign and think it's a stop sign. So I stop, and then I start to pull out, and then I realize the other traffic isn't stopping. So I said, there's a couple of interesting ones in town. But
Right, and that intersection there, itself is also sketchy, to me.
like I said, the planner and the public works director are continuing to look at it, and they're looking at additional options there. We're looking at, basically the equivalent of the speed signs we have coming into town, one of those locations with a 15.
Okay.
So there's a couple of different options, but again, how do we do it scalably, repeatably? That's
What about that trailer?
apart from our emotions that we all get when we get there, so.
Right.
What about the little trailer with the flashing light that helps can we just, is it in use now?
The,
Can we
the,
put
the
it
directive
there?
that the police department has
Okay.
is that I would like for it to be in use someplace within city limits
Mhm.
all the time. And so they are responsible for moving that to where they would like it. And sometimes it's down a little bit because it's being charged. But that, I have asked that that just be continuously relocated around town wherever they think is appropriate and use that tool, so.
Sounds like this intersection is probably a good candidate for the next placement.
Yeah.
Understood.
And it's been one that's been on our discussion before.
Oh, no,
But we were thinking about pedestrians, so.
Yep, I'm aware.
When that accident came in Sunday, that was my first question was vehicles or,
Or people.
pedestrians, so.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
There might be somebody else who wants to talk.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you still listening?
We sure are.
I'm Colleen Harrington, I live on Hauser, and actually, by chance, I have a compliment.
Love it.
Yeah, since the last
If I
time
can't think of good stuff.
Not
all the
my
time.
tip, yeah.
you know, I often feel like, come on, do something. But,
Sure.
since I was last at this committee meeting, I've had two people say to me, the police are all over this place.
They're what?
And they're all over
Yes.
this
Your
place.
presence was no.
And one got a warning, the other didn't say, I don't know if it's a citation. But I was really pleased to hear that, because I know in the past we had asked for the police to have more of a presence on houses.
Yes,
So-
yes.
Usually that we don't get compliments when we get citations, so, yeah.
Well, wait,
It wasn't her citation.
she would be understanding.
I've seen complaints from warnings too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I met Chief Schrock when I first moved here, within the second week, and he gave me a warning. And we sat there, and we had a lovely chat. We did, so.
I don't remember this. Did I? No kidding? That's awesome. All right.
I need to admit that.
I know,
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
I love it.
That's true, so.
Yeah.
Good, yeah.
And I don't feed anymore down there.
Yeah.
The warnings do help, yeah.
Warnings help. All
warning.
right, anybody have a comment? Yeah, absolutely.
And I wrote down, I don't forget anything.
And you have hard copies, and then the rest council will get the copies.
Oh,
Okay, you know what, it's
I
two
do.
things. One, I'm gonna read it to you so you understand it.
Okay.
And the second is for all of council, because I know there's three of you here, and it's a whole council issue, but, I'm turning this issue over to you to address it, and I'm not, I've done all I can on my end, so, I want you to be fully informed, and if you aren't, then you're welcome to get a hold of me or anybody else you want to, because, I just want decisions made on information. So that's why I have a second, this is just a verbal introduction to it, so I'll just read it to you, it shouldn't take very long. So, as you know, my name is Kristen Cogswell, I live here in the city. 6 months ago, a plane crashed in my yard, my family could have been killed. We're reminded of that every single time a plane takes off, which is getting pretty frequent. Since that time, I've repeatedly asked council to address airport safety and governance issues and concerns. I've submitted documentation supporting the need for a review. The committee requested written questions, which were submitted, and they remain unanswered. It's now been 6 months without formal action. Your agenda states that your role is to focus on a safe and healthy community. To research, discuss, determine, and recommend best courses of action to City Council. This issue falls squarely within that responsibility. This is not a debate about pilots or aviation preferences. It's a city governance issue involving public land, public liability, and public safety. Here's some relevant facts. The most recent January 15th airport board meeting was attended by the board and the mayor. No council members or members of the public appeared to attend except for the former airport manager. Discussions included the interlocal agreement, 10 or more new leases, additional hangar construction on land previously provided for the pilot's lounge, and potential expansion of airport boundaries. Approximately 15 to 20 hangars have been added and are planned for over the last 5 years. This will bring
bring the total close to 40, significantly doubling airport operations. There has been no airport manager since last summer, as that position has been eliminated. No public information has been provided regarding whether the city's insurance carrier has been informed of the airport's growth or the 3 recent crashes. No one has discussed the city's liability exposure. Council will soon be asked to consider major long-term commitments without having any professional, independent, safety, fiscal, legal review, or other information. Aviation traffic has increased substantially, and aircraft frequently are observed operating beyond historic flight patterns that previously avoided residential areas. I see each and every one of them out my window, okay? I have a good view of that. There is a notable increase in noise and effects on city residents. My request is simple. Before the city signs or approves any new or extended interlocal agreement, boundary change, lease revision, hangar construction, or expansion-related events such as a fly-in, the city should obtain an independent evaluation of the airport and related issues. Those reviews should be complete and presented publicly. Specifically, I ask this committee to recommend to the full council, 1, an independent and professional aviation safety and operations review with runway turf operations, patterns and noise abatement options, risk controls, etc., by a qualified third party with no local ties. Number 2, obtain an insurance risk review for the city-owned property and the airport board. Number 3, temporarily pause any approvals of new hangar construction, boundary adjustments, changes to lease terms, or the interlocal agreement until such time as evaluations are completed and presented publicly. And 4, a written legal opinion from the city attorney clarifying the status of the interlocal agreement and the legal authority of the current airport board, along with an opinion on potential conflict of interest issues. This protects the city, it protects the council, and it protects the residents, and that's the responsible thing to do. And as I said earlier, I am following this up with a letter of request to this committee to share with the full council, and I have 7 copies waiting, maybe the mayor has them now. I'm always available for anything you need, but, you know, we talk about cars, you know, that plane could have taken out both my family and my neighbor's family, and it could have happened to any one of us in this community. So I hope you get a serious issue, and I hope you find money for a review because it's time. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Any updates from the meeting with the interlocal agreement from January 15th?
It hasn't happened yet. You're talking about with, so no.
Okay.
There's not been anything since that conversation.
Is there some drafts that could circulate?
They're available from that meeting, but I certainly, be happy to get that draft out.
Chair?
Yeah.
And we're over time too, but.
Don't know why we don't get a council rep on the airport board.
Yeah, I don't.
Because I don't know anything. I studied this back in September. It was Labor Day weekend, I think, and but I think I asked someone, when is the airport board meeting? And they said to me, in all seriously, whenever they decide to have one. That's baloney. But if we are really a city, county airport, why isn't there a rep on a rep that goes to every meeting? And I think that's I think negligent is a little too strong a word, but it's not taking responsibility for a thing that is our responsibility.
Yeah.
So that is my suggestion, is that I'm not volunteering to be on another meeting, but if it need be, they probably don't want me on it because I'm a contrarian and I talk a lot. And but they probably want someone to just kind of, but I'll do it.
Did we not have a council member prior?
Never heard of it.
Or was that just
We,
for?
we have not, in the new interlocal, where it goes to 3,
Yeah.
there's been discussion about that third one being a council rep, so.
Okay, so it is understood.
Can you tell us who are on the board, who's on the board right now?
But right now, the city representation,
Mhm.
is, and these were appointed by the previous mayor, but the terms are up for renewal.
Okay.
But Steve Smith is one of those two,
Okay.
and Bo Ewalt is another one of those.
But he
So those
lives
are two
in the
Red
county.
Lodge.
Pardon?
He lives in the county.
But he's still the city rep
He's
to,
the city.
So their terms are
There.
up also, I believe.
that's what I said, they're up for reappointment.
Like now or April?
Yeah,
or
now,
something?
I don't have it on,
Okay.
but on tonight, there's several that are kind of evaporating right now, and we're trying to keep up with them, so.
Okay, so that's the 2 city, and then we have 2 county, and then we have Richard?
There's 2 county,
Oh.
there's 2 Bridger, there's 2 Red Lodge, 2 Bridger, and 3 county. And that was the discussion that we're proposing is 3, 3, and 3.
Oh, okay.
And there was pushback, and so the conversation that was discussed at that 15th meeting is, and actually this was, which meeting it came out of, is, a conversation between the commissioners had some pushback in that with the 3, 3, and 3. Their take is they're putting in a significantly larger chunk of the money because the county mill
Mhm.
is a significantly more valuable thing than the city mill. The city's position is, yeah, but we have the land that has value too. I don't think it's a deal killer, but what it is there's gonna be a conversation between the commissioner, council member Ronning, and then, also council member, we invited, former council member Battles because she was in that discussion. Basically, the agreement that we have is the one that was put together by the previous council.
Okay.
And so they're just kind of going through and making sure that those 2 sides are in agreement. If there's battles or things that battles, if there's disagreements or misunderstandings, that they can get that worked out.
Yeah.
And then basically, as soon as we can get it onto our agenda, it is planned to be here on that agenda, so.
I would just say though that, none of these people have expertise in airports, aviation, and community safety standards. And it's been 6 months. And I've been waiting for 6 months for the city to take action on this issue. With 6 new approved leases, that's going to be 6 more likely recreational pilots often. Well, I'll just leave it at that. But, this is overdue. And these planes are not flying in historic flight paths. They're flying, and you can see them yourself, they're flying over the city. They're flying at low altitudes.
Mhm.
And every day we get closer to more hangars being built. And there were 8 planes, at a minimum of 8 planes that took off on Sunday. And, you know, we're talking about February. I can tell you, the closer we get to summer, we're gonna have a lot of aviation traffic. And this council needs to figure out how much can this city take.
Well,
And the use of the land.
Chris, with all due respect, I have a little hobby of airplane stuff, and I read a lot about them, and I read about wrecks, and I read about, but I don't think you can, regulate who flies in and who flies out, and who's bad, who's good, and how many take off, and I just don't think that's something you can regulate. And Steve, tell me if I'm wrong, but and plus, I hate to say this, because I know you've heard it, but you know, everyone knew the airport was there. And it's hard to, I understand the city needs to be more involved, but when this first happened, I was on a wild goose chase because I was on hangars, and I was talking about turf. But I don't know if we can regulate what you think we should regulate.
I understand where you're coming from, and I hear what you're saying, but remember, not long ago, there were quite a few less hangars, number one. Number two, there was different airport management, okay? And those two, and number three, you can get regulations. Anybody can fly out of that, in and out of that airport.
Right.
That's not the issue. The issue is, what are the protocols and who's enforcing them?
And I don't know anything about historic flight patterns. I guess I need to go home and read that this week, but I don't know if there's such a thing as a historic flight
All right,
pattern.
so we're gonna bring it back because
Okay.
we are at
Oh,
5:30
okay.
currently right now. I was giving you all the way to 5:30 to have the discussion. All right.
Hey,
Me,
you're adjourning?
I am, any comments online before I go?
Jody.
No
Ms.
comments
Jody?
online.
There's a guest with no name.
Oh, I'm not seeing any raised hands or,
Is that us?
Dave, who raised his hand?
Well, sorry, it's too bad she left. Historic flight patterns that is not an argument. There's flight patterns for takeoffs and landings have not changed. She does have a point, there are more hangars.
Okay, all right, well, let's go ahead and carry this conversation on next time or after, or add it to our agenda to have the discussion with the airport. Also curious about how we're planning on doing, representation of this, so. All right, meeting adjourned.
Thank you.